All righty. I think we're good. Man, it's been a minute since I've done this. Don't see anybody jumping in here. Make sure that this is good. Can you? Oh, somebody's jumped in. Here we go. We good? Can you hear me? Hey, it's John. Hey, John. How you doing? Oh yeah, people are jumping in now. Okay, loud and clear. Perfect. Awesome. Ireland. Heck yeah. Hey guys, it's been a minute. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I just wanted to Hey, Eric, long time no chat, buddy. How are you? How are you? I don't have a lot of time here. And it's been a while since I've done a live stream, so bear with me. I'm going to be a little bit rusty, but Sarah's at the park and she's got the kiddos, and I just jumped into a live stream with Randy Cheap Audio Man, and I was like, man, that was a lot of fun. I've got to jump back in here and say hi to my folks and make sure you guys are all doing well, and answer some questions. So that's what today's show is gonna be. Is I don't have any specific agenda or anything like that, but yeah. First question out of the gate is revels compared to the per listens. I haven't spent a time with a lot of the Revel speakers. Of the ones that I have spent time with, I definitely think that the per listens are a better speaker. There's no doubt about that. Um, the uh, the white Revels, and I forget the name escapes or the model escapes me, but the ones that I reviewed a while back, I think that to be frank, and I'm going to be honest, I think the per listen smoke those. It's not even close. So that's my opinion. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Greg Bartley is asking, have you ever heard of aerial acoustics? No, I haven't. Greg, if you want to link me, I can take a look at them or bookmark them and check them out. Dynamics of per listen compared to horn loaded speakers. I would say that it depends on the frequency that we're talking about. With a lot of the horn loaded speakers, you're going to have a little bit more dynamic content up top. So, upper mid range, electric guitars, top end of cymbal hits, snares, things like that. Those are going to definitely sound a bit more dynamic than the per listens. With the per listens, their dynamics is a little bit different in that you're gonna have some serious bass impact and punch that is just like, wow, that sounds amazing, especially with the big boys, the S70s. And that was one of the core differences between the two when I reviewed them. Um, so you know, horn speakers are really going to give you that efficiency, and they're going to be incredibly exciting and dynamic, especially on top where that horn is. And the Perlisons aren't really doing that. One of the things that I actually appreciate about them is even though they are very dynamic, they're very easy to listen to because nothing is really forward or shouty. And as I said in the review, it's actually quite the opposite. Is it's a very open, wide, and deep sound stage. So it's not a forward type of a sound at all. Um, so yeah, thank you. That was a good question, Paul. What do I think of the Dynaudio Contour 20s with the Hegel amp versus KLH Model 5 and Hegel H390? I can't comment on the Dynaudio Contour 20s. I haven't spent any time with them. I've heard them in shops a long time ago, and they were a nice sounding speaker. Um, I will say, and this is weird. I guess it's not weird. I'm I'm surprised. I'm surprised by how much I'm enjoying the Model 5s. I didn't think that I would. I figure they're gonna be fine. But I gotta be honest with you guys, like, I am having the time of my life with those speakers, and I do think that pairing them with something like an H390 would actually be a smart move. They do have an aluminum dome tweeter, and it can be a little bit tipsy. It can be a little bit sparky on top, and so having something voiced like an H390 where it's more of this, like, lush kind of big and bold sound, and that would be a good pairing. So you're definitely on the right track. There's no doubt about that. Oh, that's a good question. Bit off topic. Any tips on in-ear headsets in price range of 150 bucks? Yes. Man, the model escapes me. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Hey, is it Martin? I don't have my readers on and my eyes are going bad. Um, I think it's Martin. Shoot me an email, Ron at New Record Day, and I'll follow up with you. I have a pair of Canara in-ears that come to mind, and I think they're right around that budget, maybe 160-ish, and I freaking love them. I think they're fantastic. I just forget the flipping name of them, and all of these names are hard to remember because they're coming out with new monitors all the time, but those are awesome. So shoot me an email, Ron at New Record Day. I have the box around here somewhere. I'll recommend those. They're great. You'll love them. They're fantastic. Yeah. Are you planning on getting any Arendals in for review? I haven't reached out to Arendal, Paul, so I'm not. That's not in the current plans right now. Um, what is your long-term opinion on Marison Faroe DAC? I don't have it long-term. With a lot of these reviews, and this gets a little bit tricky, is you might be on a time crunch to where you only have a limited amount of time where you get to spend time with the product. And, for things like DACs that might take a long time to really wrap your head around and enjoy for the long haul, that gets tricky. So I can't comment long term because that w when I finished that review, it means my time was up. It means it's gotta head back home, and so around that time, maybe a week or week and a half after that, I boxed it up and it went home, and so it was a great sounding little DAC. I really liked it. It was just a nice sounding DAC. No complaints at all. My wife spits at me sometimes. I forgive her. I hear you, buddy. Yeah, my wife can be quite the handful. I mean, she's at the park right now with the kids, so I can say that. She's not watching this live stream. Oh my goodness sakes. A new hot speaker that I am interested in is the Musician Night 1. Any chance these are on the horizon? I've never even heard of Musician Night or the Musician Night 1. Eric, I would be interested in checking that out. I mean, if it's something that's got you all hot and bothered, then shoot me an email, link it to me, and I'll reach out to him. I'd be happy to. Ashred, hey Chief, what do you think about the RME ADI 2 DAC? I think it's fantastic. I do have a little bit of experience with the RME products because I do come a little bit from spending time with some studio stuff, and that kind of drifts more in that direction. RME interfaces and things like that are phenomenal, and in the studio world, they're highly regarded. And so, I haven't heard that specific DAC, but I will tell you that anything that I have heard from RME, is top notch, and I would expect that that DAC is probably gonna be phenomenal, to be, frank with you. I would say that they're, similar. They ride similar lines as, like, the benchmark gear where it's like, they know what they're doing. I mean, they really know what they're doing. So, yeah. Uh, what to power a pair of AKG K240 DFs? Um, so 600 ohms, 11 volts. You're gonna need a a powerhouse of an amplifier to wake those up. A buddy of mine, I think, had a pair of 240s back in the day. I think my buddy Mark. That rings a bell, the 240. And I remember that we had a tough time pairing that up with, like, the right headphone amp, and I think that we were trying some tube stuff, and it seemed like it sounded pretty good. Um, I'm not a headphone expert. That question would be great to ask, my buddy DMS, so subscribe to his channel, or Josh Valor. Both of those guys are headphone experts, and they would be able to answer that question in a quick hurry. So hop over and chat with them. Where are you? Do you have a shop? I'm at my house in Texas. Do I have a shop? No. Do I sell products? No, I do not sell products. I think that's what you're asking. Oh gosh, if you want to expand on that, feel free. So let's take a look here. Do you have any plans to review the new Kinky Studio gear, the Ultimate series of their reference gear? I would love to. That Kinky Studio integrated amplifier that I had, that thing was so good in so many ways. And I think that its voicing reminds me of kind of like a Hegel type sound. And I found that amplifier just to be lush and easy to listen to, plenty of dynamics and slam, for days. And I would be happy to check out that stuff. So I'll reach out, and see if we can make that happen. That's a great idea. Where is my X5 review? Um, yeah, it's around the corner. The X4 and the X5 are under review right now. I've got to finalize my thoughts and knock out the measurements. Measurements I do last, so I'm not being led by the measurements. And so I'm still messing around with some combinations on both of those, and they'll be out. The good news is that when the X4 drops, that review, the X5 review will drop around the same time. So I'll knock them both out, and you know, you guys will have an idea of what's going on with both of those speakers. Uh, Great that you're back doing more content. Missed you, bud. Hey, I missed you guys. It's been kind of a challenging year for the Bernays in a lot of different ways. A lot of things going on. Not all bad, but a lot of stuff going on, and it feels great to just have a positive outlook. And yeah, I'm ready to work, man. I'm ready to get going. And with the new studio that's being built outside, if you think I'm working a lot right now, you're in for a treat, because then it's like, hey, dad's going to work and I'm going to do nothing but work. And so that's going to be great. I'll be able to give Sarah the house back and, have some time alone where I can really concentrate and get some stuff done. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah. Um, are you and Danny working together on both of your listening rooms? No, we're not. Danny's doing a different thing with his listening room, and he told me his strategy. His space requirements on his listening room is different than mine. He has a shop, and then within that shop, he's building a listening room, and it's dictated by, the dimensions of that shop. And so I know that his ceiling isn't quite as high as he would want, but has a lot of depth. And Danny's a really smart guy, so I'm excited to see what he does in the space that he has. I guess the advantage with my space is that I was able to determine all of it. So I built this from the ground up. I use room mode calculators to figure out what roughly is going to give me the best room size and volume. And so I am freaking jazzed. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. Can you please? Oh wait, tell us about the Meze 109 Pro. Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna drop a review, and since you guys are watching the live stream, I'm gonna tell you it'll be very clickbaity. I'm gonna the title will be something along the lines of, one of the more one of the most amazing audio products in a while, and I'm not gonna show the headphones. So when you see that video drop, I'm gonna be talking about these. These are unbelievable. I think they're 800 bucks. So they're not cheap, but and you guys know this, like, there's been some mezzes that I've gotten in, like, the lyrics, I was like, "No, no, no, mezze, stop it." These, they called their shot and they knocked it out of the park. Grand slam home run. I love these freaking headphones. Highly recommended, dynamic, easy to drive. Watch out for that review. These are unbelievably good. Open air, so, they're gonna bleed sound. So they're gonna have a certain type of a person that's gonna be buying them, but man, they are freaking awesome. They're so good. I'm very excited, as you can see, about those headphones. I'm very excited. Can I please do more videos about room acoustics and room correction, please? Benny, yes. And as I progress with the studio build outside, that's gonna capitalize a big space on my channel of talking about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it. So it'll literally be like a step by step entering into the mind of Ron Bernay of how I tackle acoustics. And what I'm gonna be doing is gonna be it's gonna be interesting because I have 2 things that I have to tackle, which is soundproofing and then treating the room, because I want this to be a situation where I can jam out there at 2 o'clock in the morning if I wanted. That probably won't happen, let's be honest. I go to bed, like, at 9 because I'm an old man, but I can listen as loud as I want, and I'm not gonna disturb the neighbors, and so that's the goal, that's the purpose, that's what I'm trying to do, and so I will take you guys along for the ride as I unpack how do we how do we tackle that, and then we get to the fun stuff, which is now how do we treat the room? How do we treat it? What do we do? Do we just throw up a bunch of, diffusers? Do we just throw up a bunch of absorption on the wall? Like, what's the ratio and why? I'm gonna do all of that, and it's gonna be a blast, so I'm really excited about that. In the new listening building, did you run pure 24 karat gold electrical wiring to have the best electrical flow and zero distortion? This is from my buddy John Shepler. John, yeah, I did, but I actually silver plated it. I had Randy come over, and he silver plated everything before all of that, and so we took it to the next level. So that's what we're gonna do. Also, John, I was just mentioning this in Randy's live stream. I don't know if you were in there, but I still have your C700. You're probably like, "Hang it, Ron, you stole my amp. You seem like a nice guy, and you stole my." He sent this thing to me like months and months ago. I'm gonna be honest, it's still in the box. John's like, well, this is getting worse. You haven't even listened to it. I promise you, I will review it. I promise I will unpack it. I'll check it out and I'll get that back to you. Or I might sell it on eBay. And if you really want it back, then you can, bid against others. And hopefully it won't be too much. We'll see. Yeah. All right. I'm looking for some monoblocks under $2,000 a pair. Any suggestions? I would be looking at the used market, and I would recommend right out of the gate, I'm gonna say, well, actually, hold on. MW, we need to back up. Solid state or tube? Answer that down below, and then we'll go from there. Oh no, my battery's gonna die on my laptop. Bear with me. I'll be back. Like, give me 2 minutes. Oh man, I'm so sorry about that. Okay. Sorry, I just had to plug in my laptop. Battery is about to die. All right. So let me just take a look here. On that note, how to get spatial audio speakers in Europe, except for outrageously expensive EU shoot offshoot other than used. I can't answer that question. Contact spatial audio. I don't know. I don't know if Clayton is focused on Europe or the European market. I don't think that he is. There's nothing that's beyond my control. I don't work for spatial, so just reach out to them and ask them. Hi Ron, why did you not like the RP600M2? The reason why I didn't like them is I found them to be very fatiguing. And so even though I did appreciate that compared to the RP600M, the original, they did fix some phase issues, and the phase relationship between the woofer and the tweeter was definitely better. But I think that with that, there was a consequence of maybe they went a little too far with the voicing, and there was some stuff like around 1K, 1500, 2K that I just felt like was just always there. And it was just like, man, I can't. I can't listen to this thing for very long before I'm like, "I'm done," you know? And don't get me wrong, like, some people like that kind of forward, shouty type presentation, and that's great, but, um, you know, I guess that's the advantage of being a reviewer is it's my opinion, my thoughts at the end of the day, and I didn't care for them. So, yeah. Let's just take a look here. Sorry, this is jumping on me, so bear with me for just 1 second. Somebody's asking, it looks like again, can you do more videos about room acoustics and room correction, please? Yes, I answered that earlier in the live stream. You can always go back and see what I had to say about that. That's coming. I will definitely do that. What is the best ear level to get the best from this spatial X4 or 5 tweeter? You're dealing with controlled directivity, and so in terms of height, I would say that at ear level is going to be fine, but um unless you have an extreme angle, I don't think you have anything to worry about. It is a ribbon tweeter, and it is a tall ribbon air motion tweeter, not ribbon. Whoa. It is a taller tweeter, and so the vertical response on it, while it is good, it's not great. It's not stellar, and so unless you had, like, an extreme situation, like you're sitting on you're sitting up there listening to music, the first thing I'd say is, "Can you get down?" Because that's crazy. If you're around, you know, that vertical in line with the tweeter, you're gonna be fine, and the horizontal response is fantastic, and so you have nothing to worry about there, and I think that's gonna be the more important of the 2 in terms of voicing those is playing around with, straightforward, start bringing them in, at your shoulders, right at your ears. Maybe try crossing the streams, that might be interesting to try depending on the room, those things will dictate that. Um, but with the X4s and the X5s, I did not find those difficult to dial in at all. I plop them down and I'm just like, "Okay, well, game on. These things sound awesome." So, yeah. Martin says, "Yeah, by the way, Martin has such a great ear. He's been on my channel for a long time, and I would love to eventually be able to meet Martin." Um, from the early days, whenever Martin would leave a comment, like, from sound clips with commentary, I'm like, this guy's hearing stuff that I'm not even hearing. Like, he's really picking up a lot of the nuances, and I appreciate that. And he's saying he noticed that, that horn shout, and it's easily audible on the sound clips, and I completely agree. It's very noticeable. Is there a price ceiling besides personal budget for building a listening room? Like, will $1 million get you a better acoustic sound treated space compared to, you know, I, I'm battling a couple of things with my room, and we could throw more money at this if we wanted to and kind of go a little bit crazy, not a lot crazy, but a little bit crazy. And I don't think that I want to. I think that I want to keep this more like as I get closer, I think I'm going to keep it more like how can you get great, like great sound without going crazy? How do you make it sound great? Because I think that you guys will be able to connect to that a lot more. And just to give you like a rough example, I already did a video where I talked about doing mass loaded vinyl and these channel strips and all of these things. And of course, because I'm a reviewer and, an influencer, whatever you want to say, I'm reaching out to companies and I'm like, hey, I'm happy to like link you in the video. Can we talk about discounts on some of these supplies and things like that? I'm trying to do my best to save myself money. And even after doing that, just for the mass loaded vinyl and the channels that I was looking for, just for some of the basic stuff, it was like $10,000. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, whoa, what? And so I've had to kind of pause, take a step back and go, okay, can we tackle this from a different angle? Can we look at this from a different angle and get really great results? And so I'm still working through that and more to come on that. So yeah, I'm struggling to keep up with two prices these days. Do you think this whole Russia-Ukraine situation, we two folk will ever catch a break and the stocks are drying up? I don't know. I'm not too sure. It's hard to say. I don't know. When are you back with more frequent reviews? Now. Now I'm back. Hopefully, I'm doing the best that I can. Like I was saying earlier, we've kind of been through a lot over the last year, and there was a good while where I was definitely in a slump, and I'm doing the best that I can. I feel good right now, and I've gotten quite a bit of content out recently, and so I'm gonna just ride this wave and do the best that I can. So yeah. Hi, Ron. For your new listening room, did you consider decoupling all of your equipment from the grid by using solar and batteries? I did, Andy. And this is where it gets complicated. And I think that it gets a little bit tricky because I think us audiophiles look at something that we don't. And I'm not saying that this is not you. You might know a lot about solar. You might be the guy that I should be talking to. But I think that, like most audiophiles, would think solar, clean power, that's the way to go. It seems like this is almost like a mantra that I'm already hearing, but as I engage in conversation with a lot of these guys, they don't really know what they're actually talking about. And I don't mean that like in a I'm being a dick or anything, but it's like they don't really even understand how it actually works. And I did have a conversation with one guy who's not an audiophile that does know kind of how it works. And he's talking about inverters and things like that. And he's like, it's not it's not really as clean as you might think if we're talking about, like, for an audio room. I mean, it supplies power, and there's gonna be some drawbacks to it, and so it was interesting just to kinda have those brakes pumped and, like, think through, like, "Okay, well, maybe there is no silver bullet here. Maybe there is no just one thing that is just gonna fix everything, and maybe there are advantages to traditional power versus solar power." I'm still investigating those things, so I have considered it. I have looked into it. One thing that I am going to pursue is isolating the power. So, whether I go traditional, that building will have its own meter, and I'm gonna run power separate to that room than what we have in the house. That I will do, and I think that will get things off on the right track. So, anyways. You had to pee, didn't you? That's what it was. You got me. You got me. Redneck Tech 70. I'm going to my first audio show in a few days. I'm excited. Mike, good for you, man. I'll say this, it's an experience. And I would just say, hit up all those rooms, hit up the big rooms, hit up the small rooms. It's really wild, and it'll be interesting to hear your report once you get back because, if you're like me, there's a lot of rooms that I thought were going to be amazing that were awful, and then some rooms where I was like there's no way this is going to sound good, and it blew my mind. So, it can be it can be a lot of fun. Yeah. What are a few of your go-to demo tracks? I have hundreds of songs, like playlists. So I don't have even just a few, to be honest with you, and it changes all the time. I'm the kind of guy where I like diving into, deep catalogs and just getting lost in music and discovering new artists. And so, um, I I've got a lot of playlists. That's the answer. I don't have just a few. I've got a lot. Um, Looking forward to the subversion of lots. Any hints, preview, et cetera, et cetera? No. I will say that that will exist in the new studio. So that's going to be a ways out. I made up my mind that because of the amount of problems and things that I'm dealing with in this listening room, footfall issues, it's all pure and joint. And so it's up off the floor. I was like, this is not the best environment to be talking about bass because of the problems that I'm dealing with when it comes to bass, especially around 50 hertz. Everything gets excited. And so I'm going to wait until the studio is done, and then I will be tackling lots again. So there will be a lots 2.0. I've got some new ideas, some new revisions, new ways of looking at this thing that I'll be tackling out there. And I will follow that up with, I think it's going to be Boss bass optimization for superior soundstage is what I'm thinking is I'm going to be doing a are you a boss? Something that having to do with bass, and then how do we dial in bass, and that's the goal, anyways. So yeah, Canada, Ontario, Toronto show. That's awesome, Mike. Good for you, man. Super happy to hear that. Do you mean like monitor audio speakers? I have listened today, MA Silver. They had also forward mid range. They are secondhand speakers. Yeah. I haven't heard a lot of the monitor audio stuff. So, if it's forward, then that's exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about the clip speakers, is they just have this like very forward presentation. And so do and before we start thinking like I just hate horn speakers, I don't. The JBLs do that as well, but I find that their voicing is a lot more linear. It's a lot more relaxed. And I got to say, like a lot of those JBLs, I really dig. I think it's like, man, you still have that like club like experience where you're in the front row and it is exciting, but I can listen to those, speakers for a very long time. So, pick one, Spatial X4 or Perlison R7T. Dave, you son of a gun. Both. I mean, it's so hard. It is a bit of a challenge. I would say that because I love what Open Baffle brings to the table so much, I think that in the long haul, I would miss it too much. And so I'm gonna pick the X4. I really am. And that's the honest to goodness truth. But, you know, if you were the kind of guy that one half to another when it comes to open baffle, like you really don't care about that sound and what that does, man, the R7T it's a crazy amazing speaker. It's phenomenal. It's so good, it's crazy. So, anyways, something to consider. Is the Kitsune LCR1 phono preamp still on your radar? Yes, Martin, actually it is, and I'll be knocking out that review pretty soon. Yes, it is. With regards to my monoblock question, I am looking for solid state. So earlier, MW was looking for solid state monoblocks under $2,000. Um, man, I gotta say, if you are open to Class D, and I know that a lot of audiophiles are not, but let's just start there. I really like a lot of the GAN amps. The Peachtree audio stuff is solid. I mean, not Peachtree. Orchard Audio stuff is solid. Sounds very good and very clean. It doesn't sound like weird on top or like suffers from a lot of the issues that Class D amps do suffer from. The in-core stuff, even the do-it-yourself monoblocks that you can do, the NC400s are insanely good, very clean. Um, they don't do anything that I would say is exciting on their own. They just kind of get out of the way. It's like a straight wire type amp where everything is just simply amplified. And so, depending on how you like your hi-fi, you might want to doctor that up on the front end with a tube preamp or something like that if you want. So those would be definitely a good pick. And then I would say the Purify stuff. I know that that's Bruno's new company. I think it's Purify. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Purify. Those amps, again, you know, designed by Bruno. He's a genius when it comes to Class D. Those are insane, and those are very good. Class AB with what you're looking at, $2,000. I would say that maybe taking a look at some used past labs would be on my radar for sure. If you could find something in that ballpark used, Class A, Class AB, somewhere in there, that would definitely be on my radar, for sure. Any of the Hegel stuff in that price range is fantastic as well. It's kind of a warmer sound, for the most part. Um, so there's a couple of good options for you. Let's see here. What is your opinion on ATOL equipment from France? I've never heard of it, so I don't know. I don't have any comment on that. Haven't spent any time with it, so I don't know. Let me just see here. I'm not an audiophile. I don't even have a system, but I like to watch things critiqued properly. My English is not very good, but I understand enough. It's a pleasure watching you. Hi from Turkey. That is a really nice thing to say, and I appreciate it. I try to be as thorough and honest as I can, and so thank you for watching. I really appreciate that. That's very kind. Don't you have to spend the money for pure sine wave inverters for it to be cleaner? Yes, yes. And so I am taking donations today, so I can go out and buy. I can buy a pure sine wave inverter because I need one. Can a hard to drive speaker like Dynaudio sound good with a tube amp in a medium room, or something hybrid like Rogue Audio with Class D will be better? Um, I talked a lot about this a while back when I talked about watts. There was a video that I did that I tried to break it down that a lot of it is just going to be based on how you set up your speakers, how far away they are. Like you said, medium sized room. Well, what is your definition of a medium sized room? Um, there is no reason that I can think of that you couldn't throw tubes on Dyne Audio stuff and get good results. I think that you would need to find something with a bit more zip, a bit more power. It's important to understand that solid state wattage, solid state power, current, all of that, it's not the same as tubes. And so, you might have a tube amp, that is doing, let's just say 80 watts per channel or 90 watts per channel, maybe something with like, I don't know, KT88s or KT120s or something like that, and it will blow your mind as to how powerful that it sounds. It's crazy what a really great tube amp can do. And so do I think that you need to get Class D? No. I think that you just need to be careful, Benny, about what tube amp that you're buying. You need to put some thought into that and do a lot of planning and asking the right questions. So yeah. Let's see here. Finally, Ron going live. I miss these. Ace of Spades. Welcome, my friend. I have missed it as well. It's great to be back. Hi, Ron. I'm Bala from India. I'm planning to buy a good stereo system as a beginning. Can you suggest any best budget speakers like Polk S20 or ELAC 5.2s and Q Acoustics? Which one is best in it? Uh, my best is gonna be different than yours, man, and I would say, Bala, you need to email me and kinda tell me, like, what you're after. Like, what type of sound are you going for? What kind of voicing do you enjoy? Because I could just start saying a whole bunch of speakers, and that's not gonna do any good because they're all gonna sound different from each other, and so if you can say, I don't really like a bright speaker. I like more of a warmer sounding speaker. Well, then that's going to lead me down one rabbit hole. Or if you're like, hey, man, I really like things just super forward and bright, and I like a lot of detail information. Well, that's going to take me, down a different road. So I need a little bit more information before I can answer that question, to be honest with you. Hey, Thomas, super chat. Thank you so much. Hello, my friend. Nice to see you going live. It's nice to be back, and I appreciate the super chat. That means a lot, man. Thank you. Do you think that you could review the new Maggie LRS or 1.7 eyes? Yeah, I probably could. I'll reach out to Wendell and see if he is game. I'd be happy to do that. Hi, Ron. How's the studio build coming on now, mate? It's coming along great. I will give you guys an update on that. I'm hoping by next week, let you know where we're at and give you an update, and I'll cover it in the video. So stay tuned for that. How much space do you need from the walls for the X4s? If you're talking about from, the back of the speaker to the wall, I would say 2 to 2.5 feet is really pushing it. Clayton says that he's heard some guys that have done like 2 feet, 2.5 feet, and they're happy with the results. It's been my experience with any and all open baffle offerings that really 3 feet and beyond is where, at least for what I'm listening for, where the magic happens. And so that would be my thoughts on that. Tecton 2 ohm speakers, I haven't heard them, so no comment on those. I'm not too sure. Are you planning on doing a review on the Sonos Faber Lumina 5 and or the KLH Model 5? To the latter, yes. KLH Model 5 review is underway. Yes. and I'm shocked at how much I like those speakers. I really like them. They're great. Cherry Class D amps. Hey, Ace of Spades just gave a great idea. Those Cherry amps again are very linear, very clean, so that would be another one that you could look into. Yeah. Make sure you try the boot carts on a fairly high stand. I found they sound really great at almost 29 inches high. Mike, you are spot on, and I've been experimenting with that, and I've noticed it because that tweeter is a bit down low. That as soon as you just go, "Hey, I want you right here." Oh, well, it's party time. I've noticed that, so I will highlight that, and I'll pretend that I came up with that idea, and not give you any credit. Thanks, man. I totally agree with you. You're spot on. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's see here. What's your neighbor's take on your audio adventures, way of life, and job? Um, you know, I think they're building like a shed for a tractor. I mean, anytime that I talk to anybody about what I do, I'm an introvert, and most of us audiophiles are. I'm not like shouting it from the rooftops, like, "Hey guys, come and check out my new YouTube studio." That's not really what's going down. But anybody that I talk to, they're like, "Oh, hey, that's cool. You do YouTube. Like, what's that like?" And number one question, can you guys get, or number one question that everybody asks, can you guess what it is? You guys get to keep all that stuff? No. No. No, we do not. Nope. So, yeah. Looking for a CD player for my Marantz PM 8006. Would the investment into the Marantz ND 8006 be worth it over the Marantz CD 6007? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't spent time with those, so I'm not too sure. I apologize. I don't like to BS people and act like I know what I'm talking about when I don't. I haven't spent time with those, so I'm not too sure. Ooh, Odyssey Audio. See, man, I'm rusty. It's been a while. Wayne G, I think, just hit it out of the park, man. Odyssey Audio Stratos Monos. Those right there. Man, Claus, I think that's the guy that is running Odyssey. I think that those might, anytime that I've heard those at shows or anywhere, I'm like, hot dang, those things sound good. That might be a grand slam right there. How many hours do you listen to music and relax? And what time in a day, like evening or morning, do you find yourself listening more on the weekend? Thank you. That's an interesting question. Um, I listen to music right now. I would say maybe 10 to 15 hours, somewhere around there total throughout the week. It's hard to gauge. Some weeks it goes up even more. If I'm working, I spend a lot of time doing like playing the same stupid track over and over again and just swapping out a speaker. And so it's kind of hard to figure out how long I'm really at it and how long I'm really engaged listening to music. How much do I listen to music for myself? Like where I'm off work, I usually treat myself at the end of the day and I'll throw up like the Sapphires, or even the X4s that I'm loving, the KLH Model 5s, which I'm really enjoying, which is crazy. Um, and I'll just listen to a few tracks and kind of end the day like on that note. Like I'm done working. I'm not analyzing. I'm listening just because I just want to listen, and I'll do a couple of tracks. So, yeah. What's the step up upgrade from the Yamaha AS2200? I would say the 3200 if that's still around. Yeah. Unless you're trying to get out of the Yamaha brand, you could try something like Hegel, which will have a very different sound. Like you're gonna go like from lively and a little bit more forward in the mids to like more of a relaxed presentation if you decide to go with Hegel. So, but yeah, if you want to try something totally different, then that would be a direction you could go. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, the Purify amps are solid or wild first class D that didn't sound like it had a single bit of usual drawbacks that I've heard. Luke, you are saying it exactly as I hear it. We're hearing the same amp. There were times when I listened to her, I was like, This doesn't even sound like Class D, like at all." So those things are really, really good. Um, all right, let's take a look here. Hey Ron, any experience with the Zoo Dirty Weekend speakers? Curious about their sound? No, I've never heard them. I haven't spent any time with them, so I can't comment. I'm not too sure. Um, looks like you guys are just talking to each other. Do you have any experience with Mark Levinson amps, number 27 in particular? The answer is no. So I'll start by saying I haven't had any experience with Mark Levinson amps. I'm ready to upgrade my speakers from the Monitor Audio Silver 300, and I'm curious if you've heard any magic with that pairing. Appreciate you, Brian. I appreciate you too. I wish I could answer your question, but I don't. I don't BS. You guys. I haven't spent any time with anything from Mark Levinson, so I don't. I don't know. No clue. Can you get big sound without ear fatigue? Yes, absolutely you can. I talk about this all the time. I even mentioned it in the Perlison review. And of course, those speakers are very expensive, but they're the type of speaker that they do sound very, very big. And I can listen to those for days. And I'm not entering any kind of listening fatigue. And oh, by the way, they're throwing a lot of really detailed information my way. So, I think that we need to look really hard at how we define detail. We often think like detail is what leads to listening fatigue. I don't buy that. I used to think that way. I don't think that's it. I think that an elevation in a particular or an amplitude in a particular frequency or stored energy, things that are just on repeat over and over and over again, I think that's what's leading to fatigue, not necessarily detail. So yeah, you can definitely do that. You can get big sound without listening fatigue, no problem. Where is your sidekick? Glad to see more content from you. Keep it up. Randy, I was actually just on his live stream and I just jumped in there and kind of crashed the party, had some fun, and we were just chatting like, hey, you know what? We should get back to doing a couple of podcasts and you know, just get back to work and having fun. It's a blast. Hey, guys, the Vinyl Attack. If you are not subscribed to the Vinyl Attack, do it now, my good buddy. Man, so good to have you in here, Chris. One of the coolest cats on the planet. I've met him in person. It was kind of a short meet, but super great guy, awesome channel, and it's great to have him in here. He's saying throw some ISO acoustic stands under the boot carts. Absolute fire. I believe that to be true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think with the boot cars, it's about just get them up on their shoulders just a little bit, and I think good things are about to happen. I completely agree. Yep. Will you and Randy do R&R anytime soon? I just mentioned that. Yes, we will. We'll get back to doing those for sure. I don't know if it'll be every single week. Randy's got a very, very busy schedule. He's got a lot of irons in the fire. He's a busy guy now, so we'll knock some out. And he always makes time for me, and I really do appreciate that. Yeah, so glad to have the Vinyl Attack here. Martin, absolutely. Thank you for welcoming him. He's great. He's fantastic. Seriously, if you guys aren't subscribed to Vinyl Attack, do it now. For sure. Just it's like a masterclass of what forensics should look like when really putting a product through its paces. It's like we are gonna turn over every single stone. And then we're gonna wash those stones and we're gonna turn them over again just to see if we left anything out. I mean, he does a phenomenal job. It's great. All right, let's see here. Thank you, Ron, for your reviews. Oh no, this dumb thing jumped on me. Sorry, give me a second here. I think I just lost it. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Ron, for your reviews. I'm considering the Q Acoustics 500s. Do you think my Wilsonton R800i set tube amp 48 watts should work? Yes, I think it'll work. Will you be taking full advantage of what the Concept 500s have to offer? Maybe not. I haven't spent any time with that amp, but I will tell you that I did have an amp. It was, oh man, Martin, you might remember. Remember when I did the sound clips with commentary on the Q Acoustics and I showed that tube amp at the end and I kind of surprised everybody like, we were just listening to the tube amp. It was the Qualitron. It was a European company, not not a really high powered amp, and that was the point. And man, it performed really well. Like it did a great job. So, yeah, totally awesome. I use lots to get my KLH Model 5s to excel. Thank you. I had to move the couch and thought no one would notice. My wife did notice, but we reached a truce. Thank goodness for that, man. That's awesome. That's great. I know that with the Model 5, one thing that the reviewers have mentioned, with what I've heard is that they actually like them a little bit closer to the wall. So it's going to be fun to try, you know, what happens as I pull them out and get them out and onto the dance floor. So I'm excited to undergo that and to check that out. That'll be a lot of fun. Martin, we'll see you soon, man. Take care, buddy. Let's see here. Ever heard of Odyssey Audio or Electro Component from Denmark? Odyssey Audio, I have. Yes, we were just talking about Odyssey Audio earlier. I think I missed a couple of these because this thing jumped on me here. Sorry about that, guys. Hi, Ron. I'm thinking of Emotiva as far as processing and amps. What do you think? I haven't spent a lot of time with anything amplifier wise from Emotiva, so the verdict is still out. I don't like to just pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Randy would be the guy to ask, and I think that he does like Emotiva stuff a lot. I haven't spent any time with him, so I don't know, to be honest with you. Um, so yeah, have you spent any time with the Cambridge Audio CX-A81 amplifier? Wondering how they would do with the sound of the R200s, which I know that you have reviewed. Curious of your thoughts. I hate to break it to you, I haven't reviewed the R200s. You might be thinking of the R600s, and if I remember, I think Randy reviewed the R200s. Now, if the voicing is the same of the R600s, I think you're gonna that should be a very balanced and very nice combo. A lot of the stuff that I've heard from Cambridge Audio, even though I haven't heard that particular amplifier, it is a little bit more on the warmer side, but there is enough spark in the R line of the R200, the R600, the entire R series that you should be fine and it should sound really nice. Ron, are you only into two channel or do you ever dabble with multi-channel and movies? I'm only into two channel. And so let me hold on. Let me get one of these. Looks like we got some spam coming in here, guys. Let me take care of that real quick. Moderate this. Yep. Oh, and it looks like the kiddos are home. So I'm gonna have to go in just a second. I can hear them coming in. It might get loud for a second. But I am only into two channel. I don't really do anything with multi-channel. I'm considering doing some home theater stuff in the studio. I'm not sure on that yet. We'll see. We'll see. Please do a Class D shootout with PS Audio, New Prime, Cherry, etc., etc. Yeah. Okay. I could do that. I could probably make that happen. Down the road, not anytime soon, because I don't have any of that stuff in right now. So yeah. What new music have you purchased lately? I got to be honest, I haven't purchased any music lately. Chris has actually been here, and there's there's one record store, and that record store actually closed. And so they actually moved or they went to a different location. And so we have no record stores. We have a couple of different thrift stores that do sell records. But I haven't it's been a dry season for new music and purchasing new music. I don't have anything new. And I'm always watching you, man, and I'm like, he's getting like new records all the time. What the heck? So, oh, they got bought out? Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, Sarah just walked in and she corrected me. So they got bought out. That's what happened. All right, guys. I'm gonna call it a day. I know that this was kind of short, but I want to keep this around an hour. The family's home. I want to spend some time with them. Um, I just wanted to jump back in here and say thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. And hey, you guys want to come and say hi? Come on over here. I appreciate you guys so much. It's been great. Come here, else. Look at this guy. Kids are growing up, man. Come here, Natty. Come here, princess. Let me show you off. This little one is potty trained. Yeah. You want to say hi? Say hi. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.